Hello, everyone.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's a cool, rainy, and lazy day in Makadi. I don't know where you're joining us from, but welcome to SST 709 class. I'm going to start by sharing my screen already. Can you all see my screen?
Not yet, ma.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the course is SST 709. And we're going to be starting with introductions. So SST 709 is about development frameworks and gender mainstreaming. Today we're going to be looking at introduction to development studies and some gender concepts. Tomorrow we'll delve deeper, looking at different frameworks we can use for gender studies. So for today, our course outline includes introductions, the course details, what is development studies, gender concepts, and conclusion. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma.
All right, so we'll move into introductions. So who do we have? I'm going to call you one by one to introduce yourself. So you're going to tell us what your name is, what's your favorite color, and what's your favorite food. Can we start that way?
It's okay, ma.
Your name, your favorite color, and your favorite food. So let's go with Joseph.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Good class. My name is Odu Joseph, calling from Kanshu, Makodi. My favorite color is milk color.
Okay, milk color.
Yes.
So is that off-white? Can we say it's
Ma?
off-white? Can we say your favorite color is off-white? Hello, Joseph. Can you hear me?
Hello, ma.
Yeah, so I'm saying you said milk color. So does that
I
translate to
said
off-white?
no. I said milk color.
Okay. All right, so
Yes.
let's continue. Your favorite food.
My favorite food is swallow.
Why you say swallow? Any type of swallow, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
any
can
type of
hear
swallow,
you.
be it be it corn food, be it pounded yam, be it wheat.
Are you a traditional man? All right, so it's nice meeting Joseph. Let's move on. Let's meet Aheme.
Same here, ma.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good
My
morning.
name is Aheme Nungu. I'm calling from high level. My
Okay.
favorite color is red, and my favorite food is pounded yam and pocho.
Wow. I hope you invite me one day to come and share your
Sure,
pounded yam and pocho.
sure, ma'am.
All right, so from Joseph to IMM, the first two persons, their favorite food is a swallow, but IMM is more specific. Amongst the swallow, it has to be pounded yam. A proper Benue woman. All right, so let's move on to Sophia. Sophia. Don't tell me Sophia connected and is doing something else. Okay. Let's move on to Precious. Precious, can we meet you, your name, your favorite color, and your favorite food?
Good morning, Ma. Good morning, everyone. My
Good
name is
morning.
Precious Ogo Ope.
Precious who?
Ogo Ope.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite color. Anything that is
Really?
suitable, I'm telling you, anything is suitable, I wear, or I'm an event planner, so I just try to combine colors to make it work.
Wow, that's
Then,
interesting.
my favorite food, just like Mrs. Ahemen said, is pounded yam. Oh, this weather would have been lovely for such. Pounded
My
yam,
goodness.
pocho, and a little okra, and oh God, a lot of goat meat. Thank you very much.
All right, so it's nice meeting Precious. Just like Ehame, Precious is a proper Benue woman. All
So,
right,
Benue
okay.
Popo.
So you said what, Precious?
A Benue woman Popo.
All right, so are you in Benue or you're outside Benue?
Yes, I'm in Benue. I'm calling from Naka Road.
All right, okay. That's great. It's nice meeting you, Precious. All right, let's move on to Abito.
Good morning, Ma. Good morning, class.
Good
My name
morning.
is Stella Ngufan. I'm calling from Akpehi, Makodi. My
Okay.
favorite color is blue. For
Wow.
Chelsea, yes. My favorite is Irish potato and fish, fresh fish.
Wow. So, Stella, you're a Chelsea fan?
Yes, ma'am.
That's nice. So
Yes,
your
ma'am.
favorite food is you said Irish
Irish
potatoes.
potato and fresh fish.
Are you
Yes,
sure you're a
and fresh
Benue woman?
fish.
First Benue woman that her
Yes,
favorite is
ma'am.
not pounded yam. All right. Okay, it's nice meeting you,
Yes, ma'am.
Stella.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so who else is on the call that has not? Okay, so let's move on to Bashir. Bashir, can we meet you? And
Good
please tell
morning,
us
ma.
where you're also joining from.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
My name is Bashir Lawangwinti. I'm speaking from Bauchi State.
Okay.
My favorite color is blue and white. And my favorite food is rice and stew with chicken.
Wow. You said your name is Aliyu, or I didn't get it clearly.
No, Bashir Lawangwinti.
Bashir, you like good life, oh. Rice,
Yeah.
stew, and chicken. How about rice, stew, and beef?
And I like just the rice and stew.
Okay, all right. So it's nice meeting Bashir from Bauchi.
Bauchi State. Thank you.
All right, so let's move on to Elizabeth.
Good morning, Ma. Good morning, class.
Good morning.
My name is Elizabeth Obonga. I'm calling from High Level Makodi, Benue State. My favorite color is navy blue. And my favorite food is pounded yam with egusi soup.
Elizabeth must be from Benue State as well. I hope one of these days I will get an invite. All right, it's nice meeting you, Elizabeth. Let's move on to Chidima. Chidima, can we meet you?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am. My name is
Good morning.
Chidima Rudadru Tebunachi, from Enugu South, Enugu State. My favorite color is white, purity,
Wow.
royalty. My favorite food is anything protein. I really don't know if I like food. I just like meat, chicken, beef, egg, fish, whatever, anything protein.
All
I think
right,
that's
it's
for
nice
it.
meeting you, Chidima. So who else has
All
not
right.
introduced him or herself? Okay, I can see Grace. Can we quickly meet you, Grace? Grace, can we meet Grace?
Good morning.
All right, let's listen to Amos if Grace is not ready. Quickly. There's a reason why we're doing this. Amos, can we meet you?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
My name is Denditina Amos from Benue State. I love every fitting color, and as for food, any good food. I don't have a specific favorite food.
All right, it's nice meeting you, Amos. Any other person?
Thank you.
Grace, are you ready to introduce yourself? Grace. All right, I can see Samson. Can we meet you, Samson?
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Samson Ogwenyi,
Okay.
calling from Plateau, just Plateau State.
You're calling from where?
Just Plateau State.
Okay.
My favorite color is ox blood and black.
Wow. So your favorite colors? Because yes, it's two.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hear your favorite food.
My favorite food is vegetable soup and pounded yam.
Wow. Samson, are you from Benue State?
From Benue State, yes, man. I'm a Indoma boy. I'm an Indoma boy.
Because I know many people love pounded yam a lot. All right, I can see Sam. Is this my co-facilitator or a student? I'm not sure. Is this Dr. Demenongu?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to be taking this course
Good morning,
alongside
man.
Dr. Demenongu. So let me allow him introduce himself. Okay, we're listening, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Dr. Samuel decided to join your class.
All right, you're welcome, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you.
is there any other person left? Dr. Samuel, do you want to tell us your favorite food too? It's like we have lost Dr.
No,
Samuel.
you know now, pounded yam with bush meat.
Oh my goodness. How about your favorite color?
Yeah, no, I'm here. You know what did No, blue.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
blue is
so
my favorite color.
so we don't need any more introduction
Did you get
because
that?
yes, Dr. Deminongu must be from Benue State because his favorite food is pounded
Yeah,
yam,
did
right?
you get that?
Hello, we can't hear you clearly. Network is a bit
Blue
unstable.
is my favorite.
Okay, all right. So it's nice having you in our first class, sir. All right. So let's move on. So in this hello, Dr. Deme, are you speaking?
All right, well done.
Hello, Dr. Deme, do you want to say something
Okay,
or can I proceed?
Though I can hear you clearly, though.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, okay. All right, so we're going to move on with the course details. In this course, you're going to learn about different concepts in gender, mainstreaming, and development. And this course is going to be taught by two facilitators. Dr. Demenongu just introduced himself. My name is Dr. Hefziba.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Hello, doctor. Are you saying something? Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma. We can
Yes,
hear you,
ma.
ma.
Yes, ma. I can hear you.
All right, can you also still see my slide?
Yes, we
Yes, ma.
can.
Yes, ma. Very well, ma.
All right, so someone should read what I have on the slide. Let me be sure we're all on the same page.
Course details. You
Beautiful.
will learn about different concepts in gender mainstreaming, and development.
All right.
Two facilitators will be teaching the course. Dr. ST Deminongo
Deminongo.
and Dr. H.O. Obefa.
All right, perfect. So, any questions before we move?
Samuel was trying to say something before.
Is somebody speaking? All right, any questions before we move on? Any questions?
No question from my side, ma.
I was thinking somebody will ask me what is your own favorite color and favorite food, but because nobody has asked me, let's move on.
Me, I was about to ask, ma'am.
No, I said it first.
No, I'm serious. I was about to ask because you asked everybody and you did not tell us. Even your co-facilitator, you asked him, but you did not tell us yours.
Okay, so I was waiting for someone to ask me. All right, so just like I said earlier on, my name is Dr. Hefziba Onyeji Obekbam. I am a lecturer at Joseph Samuel Ataka University, Makodi. I lecture in two departments of agricultural economics and sustainable social development. Just like Precious Okpe, I really cannot say I have a favorite color, anything that suits, right? And for my favorite food, like Bashir, it is rice. But I can go with any protein, whether fish, beef, or chicken. Any other question?
Yeah, okay, now.
Hello? It looks like this class is echoing. They don't hear me immediately when I speak.
Network is very bad, though. Network is very, very bad.
Okay, so it looks like when I speak, people don't hear me immediately, right? It
Yeah,
echoes.
we barely hear you, but
Yes, ma.
it's coming. It's echoing.
Oh my goodness. So I really have to take this slow since it's echoing. And I am a fast talker naturally. All right, may God help me. So, like I said earlier on, this the lecture today introduces the field of development studies. We're going to look at the relationship between gender and development, and we'll also look at some key concepts, right? So let's go. Anybody, what is development studies? Or what do you think is development? Anybody? So before I move on, in my class, I start assessing you from your interaction. So interactivity takes some marks in my class. I just concluded a class last week with our master's students, and some people earned as much as 4 marks in that class because they were very interactive during class. And that's a lot because 4 marks can make a whole lot of difference, right? So it's my own way of assessing you. Anybody, what do you think is development or development studies?
Hi, good morning again. My name is Precious, and in my own understanding, I feel development studies is a study of advancement. Either it can be backward, it can be forward.
Okay, thank you for the trial. But I want to understand when you say it can be backward or forward, can you expatiate? So, for example, if I am moving, I want to understand when you say backward, what is really on your mind? So when you say forward, I can
Okay.
understand. So let me understand. When you say backward, what is really on your mind?
At the time of the, I'm going to use my own, for instance, in a project, when you go to study a particular settlement, at the time of the study, is then maybe at the end line, there's a baseline and an end line. when you enter is the baseline. So at the end line now you rate all that has happened. Did the community move forward, or were they lethargic, or are they moving backward? Is there any advancement? Is there any improvement?
Okay, so any improvement that is backward, is it termed development?
Not really. Not really.
Hello?
Not really.
Okay, so Precious, you have earned 1 mark. Thank you for your contribution. So Precious, okay, 1 mark. Yes, can we listen to Chidinma?
Okay, good morning, everyone, once again.
Good morning.
For me, I see development as a means for a change that someone is championing for, like eradication of poverty, awareness creation on GBV, and all. It's a means to change something which is in existence or something that is not in existence. For instance, we have climate finance. It wasn't in existence, but due to developmental goals, SDGs and all, now it is coming into light. So I feel development studies is a means of advancing a positive cause to see that change happen. Thank you.
All right, this is beautiful. Thank you, Chidinma. So, Chidinma, please raise your hand up so I can quickly pick your name.
Yeah, hello.
Can you raise your hand up again so I can pick your name and your surname?
Hello.
Chidinma Olokwara.
Good morning, ma. Can I say something?
Okay, sorry, let me correct. That's not my name. Oh, my name is Chidinma Kibunachi. I don't know if it is not clearly spelled out.
Oh, so please, let me make something clear. So first of all, attendance is taken from the back end. Make sure that the name that is reflected is the name you have registered with. Please do not use nicknames. For me, I'm assessing you using your attendance, using your using the interactivity in the class, and if there's any assignments, I'm going to combine all of those. So if attendance comes from the back end and it doesn't harmonize with what you have, you might lose out on marks that has to do with attendance. So please, you can quickly change your name from your setting. So I've written Chidinma Ulogwara, but you're now saying that's not your surname. So what's your surname?
Okay, my surname is Aja. AJAH.
All right. So please, every other person should correct this, right? Go to your settings and change your name to your correct name, please. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll do that now.
All right. So please, if you are not talking, kindly mute so that we don't have too many interjections.
Okay, ma. I just want to say something. Good morning, ma. Once again. Hello,
Hold on. So please, part of the ground rule for this class is that if you want to talk, you kindly raise up your hand. I'm going to get a notification that someone's hand is up, and then I can now give you the floor to talk, right? So in that way, the class will be more civil than anybody just interjecting because they have something to say. All right, let's listen to you, Ogbu.
Okay, ma. Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
My name is. To me, to my own little understanding.
Who is speaking? Is this Samson or Odu?
Samson Obun Enyi.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am. To my own little understanding, I think development study is a field focused on understanding how society is being changed or can be changed, particularly in developing countries and states. I know if I.
All right, beautiful. So this will be all for now. There will be many more opportunities to get your opinion as we move on with the course. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ogbu Samson Enyi, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma.
Okay, so Precious, Chidinma, and Samson have all earned a mark each in the class. So can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
so what all of you have said, all aligned towards development, but Samson's own is closer to what I have. It's not like what the other persons have said is wrong. It's all looking at development using different thematics and from different points of view, right? So development studies has to do with the study of economic, social, political, and environmental change in the developing world, right? So when we talk about developing world, can you give an example of a country that comes to your mind and why that country comes to your mind? So Bashir, let's hear you.
Hello, good morning, ma.
All right, okay.
Firstly, I raise my hand up. I want to speak on these development studies. So
Okay.
actually, you did not recognize my hand up. So what I can say on development study is a study that defines the development in a particular, that defines a particular change in a project or program to see whether there is a positive change in it. Like for example, let's say we have a HIV programming. So you can make a development study on the people taking ART. For example, whether there is suppression in them or there is no. So when there is suppression, you will say that there is development in them. So, and the example that you are talking about in developing country, like for example, we can say Nigeria. Nigeria is a developing country because we are not like something is taken in my mind. Sorry, ma.
Are you done,
The
Bashir?
example, yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so thank you very much. I love your example using the ART drugs you give to people who are infected with HIV. So if there's suppression, you can say there's development. If they are not taking their drugs, there's no development. So or there's development in reverse. But like I said, well, negative developments. That means development is not occurring. Rather, the situation is getting worse. So when we talk about development studies, we're looking at anything that brings improvements, either economically, socially, politically, and environmental change in the developing world. Now, Bashir said an example of a country in the developing world is Nigeria. Is that what he said?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did he say Nigeria? Can anybody help Bashir? So, by the way, Bashir, I've earned 1 mark. Can
Hello, ma.
anybody? Yes, hold on.
Yeah, this is Joseph, ma.
Please
Okay.
raise your hand up. Right? So once your hand is up, I'll be able to see. All right. Okay, let's hear you, Joseph.
All right. I think Bashir mentioned Nigeria as a developing country. I feel that yes, Nigeria is a developing country because we are not up to the standard yet, both in terms of economical, both in political, that you can think of. When you look at the aspect of technology, Nigeria is not there compared to other countries yet. So we are still growing. That is why it is a developing country now.
All right. Thank you very much. Your name, your full name again, Joseph Odu, right?
Yes, Odu Joseph, ma.
All right. Thank you very much, Odu. Okay. Ruth has something to say, but I've not even met you, Ruth. So let's meet you and then we'll hear your opinion.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
My name is Ruth. So, for me, I'll use Nigeria. I'll say Nigeria is a developing country, and the reason is Nigeria has so many natural resources. It has so many resources to go around, but yet it faces high level of poverty, unemployment, poor infrastructure, be it the health, roads, and all that. So I would say Nigeria is still a developing country.
All right, thank you very much, to Ruth Mbanan, right? So
Yes,
what you have
ma'am.
said is correct, and you have also earned 1 mark in this class. All right, so she mentioned different indices. So from dependence on oil to low per capita GDP to the poverty rate in Nigeria to the level of inequality in Nigeria. So when we talk about inequality, what comes to mind? What inequality? So whose hand is up? I can still see Ruth. I don't know if it's the former hand.
It's Joseph, ma.
Joseph. Okay, so when we talk about inequality,
Please,
what comes to your mind?
ma, please, I want to take permission. This rain has
Okay.
subsided. I need to get to the office, and I will be on bike, so I may not be active till I get to the office, ma.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so when we talk about
Right.
inequality in
Thank you.
Nigeria, we are saying that men and women do not have equal access to opportunities. They do not have equal access to resources. The things, so for example, we live in a highly male dominant society, and the kind of things that men can do and get away with, if you as a woman tries it, you might not get away with it, right? So when you look at a society and there's still high level of inequality, it gives you an idea of the development of such society. So when we look to the West, you can see that the former VP, what's her name now? She gave Donald Trump a strong fight, right? If it were to be in Nigeria, she might not even secure the ticket of her party, because they'll be like, no, 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 we cannot present a female candidate. Men will not vote her, women will not vote her. You know, that kind of thinking, that kind of mindset. But for America, it was not like that. Kamala Harris gave Donald Trump a strong fight because it's a developed country where the level of inequality. So for them, they are even complaining about monopoly as to the kind of decisions they should be able to make with their body. But in Nigeria, women are fighting to get to power. Women are fighting to have a voice. Even in their homes, women are still fighting. So when you compare these two countries, you see that for Nigeria, we are still very far behind. For a country like America, they are way ahead of us. So the kind of things women are fighting for in Nigeria, women in America, they don't fight for it. It's normal. Like, so for example, I had a supervisor in America, and my roommate then went to shop, and she came and told me that, guess what? I was like, what happened? She said she saw my supervisor shopping in the mall, that see the way he was moving, buying things, like how a woman would do so in Nigeria. And then later somebody told me that in America, like if you're married to a white, or majorly in America, there's nothing like this is a woman's job or this is a man's job. If a woman can sweep the house, a man should be able to sweep the house. If a woman can go shopping, a man should be able to go shopping. So for them, those are normal things. But in Nigeria, if you see a man maybe in the market first time, second time, third time, it is either his woman rapper, or even us, we have a very wrong notion about him that, okay, maybe he's a stingy man. He doesn't want to give his wife money. So we don't look at it as something that is normal in our society. That tells us where we are as a society. When it comes to power dynamics, it's the same thing we're saying, right? Men have more power than women. You see couples these days, when they give birth to a male child, the woman will be so happy. Why is she happy? Because that is when she will have a voice. At least she has more power to talk in her family or her husband's house or what have you. If it's a girl, you will see her still, taking it as if she has not given birth to a child. So I know of someone who gave birth to 4 girls. one of the girls should be getting to the university, and she still gave birth to a child recently. I think she tried it. I don't know the process through which she got pregnant. But why was she doing that? The 4 girls were not sufficient. If you ask many people in Nigeria, if they give birth to a boy, by the time they are getting to number 3, they will say it's okay because they'll say, look at the economy, look at this, look at that. But a woman has given birth to 4 girls, she still wants to give birth. Why? Because we have power dynamics. If you do not have a male child, it is taking that no, you have not secured your spot in your husband's house or your husband's family or whatever. So when we talk about development, we're looking at issues such as poverty, inequality, power dynamics, agency, food insecurity, and sustainability. All of these issues tells us whether a country is developed or not. And these are the things we'll be looking at in development studies to help us determine how far we are and how much ground there is to cover. And we're also going to be examining different approaches to promoting development. Okay, so what is the best way we are going to use to promote development? Are we going to go to the left, or are we going to go to the right? These are all the things we're going to be looking at, because we'll be looking at some frameworks that people have used and see whether they will be applicable or suitable in our own context. Any question, please? Do I still have the class with me? Sorry, I can't see participants and my slides at the same time, so
Well, with
I'm
you, ma.
shuffling. Okay, any question? Or can I move on?
Yes, ma'am. You can move on, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so before we start, it is even good to go back to time, right? What is the history of development studies? How did it come about? When did the world start talking about development? So the history of development studies dates back to post-World War II reconstruction efforts, right? So in fact, before post, because post means after World War II. Before, in fact, development dates as far back as man started, right? So for example, if we look at the Bible and we look at the first man created according to Christianity, that's Adam and Eve, right? So if you look at their genealogy and you look at how they were going, you could see that maybe generations after them start getting better than they were. That's development. The moment things start getting better than they used to be, you can say that development is occurring. But for us, we are going to be dating back to post World War II and the reconstruction efforts after that. Then we're going to look at the rise of different theories of development. We'll look at Eurocentrism and ethnocentrism. And some of the theories we're going to be looking at include modernization theory, dependency theory, and world systems theory and capability approach. All right, so post-World War II. Now we're going to be looking at development in terms of United Nations and the World Bank. And I hope that we all know that this our project is being supported by World Bank. So now let's look at the UN and then we'll move to World Bank. Now, after the World War, the initial focus for the UN was to facilitate post-World War reconstruction efforts, right? So during World War, like we know that, how many of us are aware that the situation between Israel and Iran is tense, and many people are saying that this might be the beginning of World War III, right? So when we talk about World War, you have different countries fighting simultaneously. Now, after the World War II, for the United Nations, their focus was on reconstruction efforts and fostering cooperation. So, for example, if you look at the war between Israel and Gaza, what is on ground now is how Gaza can be reconstructed, right? Because the place is a mess. Most of the buildings have been brought down. Is somebody saying something? Hello? Is somebody saying anything?
No, ma.
But are you guys following at all?
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma, we're following.
Okay.
Yes,
All
ma.
right. So for the United Nations, they look at initially their focus was on reconstruction. Okay, bombs have brought down houses, they've brought down structures. Let us see how we can reconstruct them back, and then let's see how we can now foster cooperation, bring in different treaties so that people don't just wake up and start bombing their neighbors and what have you. So for them, their initial focus was just on post-war reconstruction and then fostering cooperation. And then they moved on to the creation of specialized agencies like the United Nations Development Program. Now, what was the United Nations Development Program about? They had different key areas, right? So for them, they were looking at, okay, places where we still had high levels of poverty, right? So they were helping countries to reduce that poverty and improve standard of living. That is another dimension and angle of development. So if we have less poor people in a country, it means the country is developing. And then they also looked at sustainability efforts. And when we talk about sustainability, we're saying we want to benefit for something while also ensuring that future generations also benefit from it. So for example, the environment. Yes, in as much, I'm sorry, my dog is barking and there's nothing I can do. I'm inside, the dog is outside. So in as much as we want to leverage the many good we can get from the environment, we also want to be responsible about the way we do it so that we do not create a whole lot of problems. So, we have issues of global warming and what have you there. We have cut down trees to use for firewood, trees to use for charcoal, and we're also not thinking about the future. So by the time we finish deforestation, we finish collecting all of this, felling all the trees and what have you, what happens to the future generation? Will they be able to withstand what will come? So United Nations, they look at different areas from poverty to sustainability, and then they also look at governance and peace building. They try to promote democracy, because we know that democracy is the government of the people for the people. If it's the people who have elected a government, it means there will be less tensions and uprising, as the case may be. So they try to support effective governance to make sure that yes, anybody in a country is representing the will of the people and the majority of persons in the country. They try to they try to promote peace building to ensure that they prevent conflict. So was it yesterday I was looking at Twitter and I saw that they said whether Nigeria had sent how many, 100 and how many soldiers to Gambia to maintain peace, right? So those are part of the things that the UN does. And they also look at climate and disaster resilience, assisting countries in adapting to climate change and building resilience. So many countries have signed onto the climate change treaty to be sure that, they are not emitting a particular level of hazardous gases to the atmosphere that might be contagious or harmful to populace. So those are some of the things that the UN is looking at. And we know anything UN, whether it's United Nations, whether it's UNICEF, what have you, they all fall under the general umbrella of United Nations. And then from UNDP, they also have their Millennium Development Goals that also evolved to the Sustainable Development Goals. We have 17 of them, all of those, right? So if they're able to achieve any of those goals for any country, what do we see? We can see that the indices through which we measure development are gradually improving and the countries are moving from developing to developed. And then the United Nations has also continued promotion of human rights and social justice, right? If people's rights are trampled upon, regardless of any development you try to bring on board, it will not be sustainable. So if I feel that I have been cheated, I feel that I have been hurt, and we do not promote human rights, no matter what you bring, because I feel I do not have a stake in it, it will not take me anything to bring it down. So they say somebody who is on the floor is not afraid of falling. So part of development is promoting human rights and social justice. When we talk about investments in Nigeria, part of the things that people look at before they go to any country to invest is their rule of law. Are these people serious? Do they obey their laws? How strong are their justice system? All of those we use it, because I can come to your country and make investments, and then one government can just wake up with one naughty policy and just make everything go down to the drain. So we look at human rights and social justice. We look at rule of law in a country. When you see that it is strengthened, you know that it's a country that is developed. I'll give another example. So there's this student in Columbia University in America, I think is in Mahmoud Khalid, who was protesting on campus in Columbia University, was protesting against the Israel-Gaza war, saying that Palestine should be free and what have you. And they said the protests became violent or what have you, because I read all of that on Twitter. And the moment I think Donald Trump won and came on board, Khalid was arrested and he was going to be deported, right? People started fighting for him because America is a developed country and they have strong human rights and social justice system. The rule of law in America is strong. Just yesterday, I saw that Khalid was released, right? So there were different from one petition to the other, from one court to the other. Even the president of a country is bound to obey the rule of law in a country. So you can see that America is a developed country. If it were to be in Nigeria and the president is against a protester and puts him in prison, before you know anything, they will just apply. Before you know anything, you'll not even hear about that person. So we have different issues of people who had advocated in the future and they were silent. So we have this Dadiata issue in Kaduna. Nobody knows what has happened to Dadiata up till now that we are speaking. There are different theories flying left, right, and center. But you know that in Nigeria, if you are not connected to the government and something happens to you, Oyo is your name. Another example is election. Now, everybody will tell you go to court. Why will somebody be confident to go to court? Because the person knows the court is in his or her hand, right? Because if you have done something wrong, you shouldn't be bold enough to tell me to go to court, because in going to court, we're supposed to get redress. Everybody's supposed to get fair treatment. But when you compare our system in Nigeria with our system in the West, you can see that we are far, far away from there. In fact, some of our judges have been banned even from going to the West because they feel the West feel there are some kind of judgments they have given that are not right, does not promote human rights and social justice. All right, is this clear?
Yes,
Hello. Do I still have my class with me?
Yes, ma.
That's
We're
why
here,
it's
ma.
clear.
With you, ma.
All right, so let's move on to the World Bank. Now, for World Bank, when it comes to development, their initial focus was on financial assistance post-World War II. How are we going to assist countries financially, right? If you give them money, if you give me money, I will tell you what my priorities are, and everybody wants to be better than where they were yesterday, right? So their own focus was on financial assistance post-war to countries who have been affected badly, their economy has been battered, and what have you. And then from financial assistance, there was a shift towards development assistance, right? So how, even if we're giving these people money and we do not have good governments in place, it's still not going to translate to development, right? If we give these persons money and there are no structures on ground to help or aid development, it's still not going to yield to the kind of positive developments that we want to see. So they shifted to development assistance. They try to influence policies in country and structural adjustment programs. For example, our government has been taking loans from World Bank, sometimes from what is this organization called again? Now, before they give them these loans, there are certain requirements that they expect them to meet. And some of them are not like you must bring your, what is this thing called now when you want to take a loan in the bank? Something you drop as a like a guarantee to make sure that even if you don't pay, that will be able to cover what you want to
A
take from the bank.
collateral. A
A
collateral.
collateral, beautiful. So beyond collateral, some of the conditions they give to countries before they give them money is to tell them about different policies in their country. You have to do this. If you are not a democratic country, we will not give you this money. If you don't improve inequality, if equality is not improved in your country and inequality reduced, will not. So there are some silent conditions, right? All of those conditions the World Bank uses to do what? To influence policy. So policies are laws or regulations that guide the way things are done in a country. Is that clear? So for some countries in Africa, to get money from the West, they will tell them that, okay, you have to promote what is this, lesbianism, gay, or what have you. Why? They want to use it to influence the way things are done in those countries. And why are they doing that? They feel that people who are not straight in Africa are being treated badly. And so for them, the only way they can help them is if the government, makes laws that, or they are less rigid with their laws that has to do with this kind of people. Africa is largely a traditional and religious country. So even if we're not looking at religion, most of our tradition does not, favor all of those things from the West. So the West will say, okay, if you allow gay people or this, we're going to give you this money or give you that. So sometimes our leaders might not come out in white and black to tell us that this is what they are doing or they are permitting gay, but you just see that they are silent when it comes to things that has to do with that. Because if these people cry out, their loan masters will come hard on them. It is either they might not give them subsequent loans in the future or whatever. So they use their money to influence policy and structural adjustment programs in developing countries. And then recently, the emphasis of World Bank has been to reduce poverty and sustainable development. So the World Bank has twin goals. The first goal is the reduction of poverty, and the second goal of the World Bank is to promote shared prosperity. And all of this they want to do before 2030. So specifically, the World Bank says we want to make sure that the people who live below $1.90 a day in every country is reduced to a minimum of 3%. Now, if we assume that the exchange rate, we peg the exchange rate at 1,600, what is the World Bank saying? They are saying that anybody that lives below 3,040 naira is considered poor. If you live on below 3,040 naira a day, you're considered poor. Now, what is the minimum wage in Nigeria? Anybody?
70,000.
How much?
70,000.
Okay. 70. Some people say 77,000. All right, let's even take it high. 77,000. Please kindly divide 77,000 by 30 days. How much will you get? Is somebody helping us do that calculation? 77,000 naira divided by 30. Anybody? Okay. Let me pick up my calculator since nobody is responding.
Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, I can hear you.
2,567.
All right. So people who are on minimum wage in Nigeria, according to the World Bank, are they classified as poor or not?
Very
They're
poor.
classified as poor, very poor.
So how much should be the minimum amount you will earn in Nigeria before you will not be classified as a poor person by the World Bank?
500,000.
Is somebody speaking?
Yes.
Please raise up your
500,000.
hand.
Okay.
Who said 500,000? That's how many persons in Nigeria on average earn five. Even me that coming to you.
every month.
If you say 500, me I'm classified as a poor person. No? So how much what is the minimum threshold that you should earn for you not to be a poor person according to the World Bank?
100,000.
Yes. Okay.
100,000.
All right. So from my calculator, 3,040 naira per day multiplied by 30 gives me 91,200. So you should not earn below 91, just like Ogbu said, right? 91 is just the threshold. That is, you're earning 1,009, $1.90. If we assume that the exchange rate is 1,600 naira. So you can see why Nigeria is a developing country, because this is the minimum wage the government has. If in the first place, how many persons have government jobs? And apart from that, if we move into the private sector, right? For those of you who do businesses, how many of you pay your attendants or your shop person or your security 70,000 naira? Is the class with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many persons pay their staff More than 17,000 naira. Do we have any
Up
business
to,
person here?
not even more than up to 70. Most don't pay.
Right. So, are you seeing why Nigeria is a developing country? Because according to the World Bank, in fact, I heard we have over 102 million persons that are in multidimensional poverty in Nigeria. So Nigeria is a developing third world country, right? If we still have more than 3% of persons who earn below 3,000 is even on the high side. There are some people that do not see 2,000 naira a day, every day. There are people who don't even see it. If they see it, then that is Christmas Day for them, right? So, and then, like I said, their goals, their twin goals. Number one is to reduce poverty. And when we talk about reducing poverty, they want poverty in every country to be less than 3%. When we say less than 3%, they don't want people who earn below $1.90 to be less than 3% in every country. And they are also trying to promote prosperity or increase the income or promote or foster income growth for the bottom 40% of the population in every country. This is what the World Bank is doing. Because in this way, using their own light, there will be development. So if you have somebody earning above this, at least you should be able to make choice of what you want to eat. But when you are not earning well, whether you take carbohydrates in the morning, carbohydrates in the afternoon, carbohydrates in the evening, food is what? Food. The only thing, we might just deceive ourselves. I'm taking pap in the morning, I'm taking corn food in the afternoon, and I'm taking yam in the evening. What have you taken all through the day? It's still carbohydrates, right? Okay,
Yes.
so we've looked at the history of development from the eyes of the UN and the World Bank post World War II. Now we're going to go into the different theories. So we said we're going to look at modernization theory, dependency theory, world systems theory, and capability approach. So let's delve into them one by one. Now, for the modernization theory, this theory posits that all societies progress through similar stages of development, from traditional to modern. So what this theory is saying is that any country that you see that is modern started from being traditional, and for it's saying that this is true for every country. You must move from traditional towards development and to modern. And it uses the Western industrialized nation as the model of development. So, for example, the way US has moved from what they were over 250 years ago before the country was created to what they are now, that is their own model of what development should look like. And so what are the features under the modernization theory? They look at linear progression. So societies evolve from agrarian. When we talk about agrarian, that's a society that is predominantly or that is based on agriculture. So most of their revenue, income, all they do comes from agriculture. So for them, they are saying you have to evolve from agriculture or traditional to industrial or modern. So from agriculture to technology, from Stone Age to computer age. And it follows a linear progression. This is what this theory says. Now, they also look at cultural change. For this theory, development requires changes in attitude, values, and institutions. So, for example, the way some of us behave in Nigeria, for them, this is still traditional. If you are developed, why should you be saying that as a woman, I should be a housewife? I'm talking about this theory, right? So they feel that when you're developed, even culturally, we should see it in your attitude, we should see it in your values and your institutions, right? And then they also have this and then another thing about the cultural change is that the society has to move from collectivism to individualism. So it is not what we agree. Allow individuals to choose for themselves, right? This is when you say development is occurring. And then the modernization theory also looks at the Western model. So we said that is their model. For example, Western Europe and North America are seen as the ideal state of development. So when you go and read about these countries, you see how they moved from traditional to modern. So these are the models that this theory looks like. And then it also looks at the role of external aid. emphasis on foreign aid, investment, and technology transfer to modernize traditional societies. So for a traditional society, what this model looks at is that for you to become modernized, you must have some form of aid, right? People must come to invest in your country. There must be technology transfer for you to modernize, or else if the society is closed, there's nothing coming from outside, right? The society cannot become developed. And then some of the scholars of this theory include Waltz Rostow and Talcott Parsons. Yes, this theory, to an extent, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because if we look at it, most societies started from traditional and then they evolved to what they are today. But the theory is not without criticism. So the first one is the Eurocentric bias, right? Why must you use Western norms as what should be universal, what should be normal, right? So everybody's culture is unique, right? So that might be their culture, but you're superimposing that, okay, if I don't think the way somebody from Europe thinks, it means I'm not developed, right? Everybody should, so you're bringing in bias. It is your own culture, and you're using your own culture as a yardstick to know whether someone is developed or not. And another of the criticism of this modernization theory is that it neglects history. It has ignored the impact of colonialism and global inequality. So you're just saying traditional modern. Who are the people who have allowed some people to still remain the way they are? Who are the people who stole some of the things from people that has made them to still remain where they are? Apart from that, it is this foreign influence that has still made some places the way they are. Because the moment they develop, they will not allow some white people who are exploiting them to continue the exploitation. So the theory that this theory ignores history. It has ignored the impact of colonialism. You just feel that people are traditional because this is the way they were. Some people have contributed even to the way some countries are up till date. And then another of the criticisms is that it uses one size fits all, and it fails to account for cultural and contextual differences. So, for example, in America, you can call your husband by name, but for us, it's not our thing, right? So there's an American professor that came to Nigeria some years ago, and then somebody was greeting her and said, Prof, good morning, how is your Oga? And she didn't take that lightly. She was like, who is my Oga? They were like, your husband. My husband is not my Oga, right? So how is this person? So you can see that that is their culture. And when you talk about culture is unique. It's not the same everywhere. So it cannot be a one size fits all. So if people in the West call their husbands by name and we don't call our husbands by name, does that make us less developed? We cannot use a one size fits all model for everybody because we still have our different uniqueness because of our different cultures, right? And then there are dependency concerns. So if you say development to occur, there must be some sort of foreign interference through aids, through technology and knowledge transfer. Are you not trying to encourage reliance on Western institutions and aid? And if you ask most of the African institutions, they will even tell you that it is this Western institution that has made us the way we are. If we check and look at most of the problems we have, there is an influence that we cannot see that is part of the root source of the problem we have. So if you're still saying that there must be external influence, are you not encouraging dependency? And that's an issue. When you say you are developed, you should be able to make decisions on your own without the interference, of other countries. Any question? I've been doing all the talking. Any question? Is the class still with me?
Yes, ma'am. We are enjoying
Yes,
the
ma'am.
class.
The class is so quiet.
No. We are assimilating. It's
Is
entering.
it because I said no interjection? Please, the class is too quiet. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Do we understand the modern? So if I ask you in exam, right, to explain the modernization theory and the criticism of the theory, is this something we will be able to do?
Yes, ma'am.
How many persons are in PGD class? What's the number of students in your class,
Now I
please?
think we're 13.
Only 13.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the people present in this class. Do you know the
Yeah.
number of students who have been admitted and have registered for PGD?
That's what I was saying, man. I think we're 13.
Okay.
To answer the question.
All right, Japheth, so you guys are 13 in this class, right?
For those who attend these classes, sometimes 14, 20, 14, 13.
Okay, so that means it's not far. All right, so the attendance is fair. That's okay. So everybody should be able to say something about modernization theory. When you look at the key features, the key features helps you to explain what the theory is like. All right, so dependency theory of development. This theory argues that underdevelopment in the global south is a direct result of historical exploitation and structural inequalities created by colonialism and the global capitalist system. I hope you know that when we talk about the global south, we're referring to places like Africa, right? So this theory is saying, what this theory is saying is that our underdevelopment, the way we are, why we are where we are, is as a result of historical exploitation and structural inequalities. And all of these have been created by the West as a result of their colonialism and their capitalist system. It rejects the idea that all nations can follow the same path to development. So I don't know whether it's true that in those days, when the white men came to Nigeria, they exchanged some of our natural resources for things as low as mirror. That they will show the black man mirror and the black man will be amused. What is this thing that can make me see myself? For something as little as mirror, we're being exploited. People were taken for slavery. Even up till now, we still have some colonial forces in Africa. So we know we still have presence of French, we have presence of, in fact, the West, they are trying to impose their presence in different places in Africa. Why? Because we have resources that they do not have. So there's this theory that says that. So I even listened to some white men on Twitter. So they were having a class and discussing, and they said you must not allow, or the West must not allow Africa to develop, because the moment Africa develops, it means that they will not have resources to keep sustaining the development in the West. Right? So for a theory like this proves that what this theory is saying is true. If you remove foreign influence, you remove people trying to influence our policies and do different things, and you leave us with ourselves, are you saying that we will not become developed? Are you saying we love the way we are? So this theory is saying that forget people are the way they are because they have been colonized and they've been exploited by the West. And the West cannot come and dictate to us that everybody must follow this path. It must move from agrarian to this, allow people to do the things they want to do the way they are. So what are some of the key features of this theory? One, this theory says underdevelopment has historical roots in what colonialism. When a country, in fact, I heard that is it this national anthem? I don't know which one was. It was not even written by a Nigerian. It was written by one of our colonial masters, and that is what we've been using before. Somebody, an indigene, actually wrote another national anthem. So this theory says that wealthy nations develop by exploiting colonies for raw materials and labor. True or false? So, for example, you see that today people are fighting in America that they cannot say they want to pursue immigrants out of America because America was built by immigrants. People are saying that their forefathers, people who came into America as immigrants, were the ones who built the city, who built America to be what it is today. So they are saying America has no moral right to call people immigrants. America is the land of everybody. According to some people, it is no man's land, right? So this is why you see them fighting Donald Trump and his policies. Why would you say that? So who owns? And if you actually look at it, even Donald Trump, his parents migrated from Germany, right, to America. So when you look at it, who are the real owners of America? So people are arguing that because America is developed today, you cannot come and say immigrants go, 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 go. Who are the people who built America? Where did the people get the raw materials used in building your country? So this is the argument of most people. So yeah, you cannot wake up and start preaching to us that immigrants should go back to where is our country, right? So he also says post-independence. So even when colonial masters and these big and influential countries from the West allow people to have independence, right? Former colonies remain economically dependent through unequal trade relations. So you have said, okay, no problem. If people think we are the ones that are the problem, okay, have your independence. Yes, they have their independence. Many countries in Africa have their independence. So, for example, what is the name of this country in Africa that there was military takeover? This one
Burkina
close
Faso.
to Nigeria. What's the name
Burkina
again?
Faso. Niger.
Is it Niger, right? So what is the currency they use in Niger? Does anybody know? I'm hearing that they want to change their official language, their lingua franca, from French to Hausa. Is French
They
an
have done.
African language? Eh?
They have just done that.
Uh-huh. I want to ask, is French an African language? Which country
No.
speaks French?
No,
Which
France.
country speaks French? France. Okay. So if they say
France.
Niger has gotten independence, are you seeing that? So we have gotten independence, yet the money we use, it is not our own currency. We still use the currency of our colonial masters, right? So this year is saying that forget, even when you talk about development, it is rooted in colonialism. Even when they tell you they have given you independence, you will still depend on them economically, sometimes through unequal trade relations. And they will tell you that the things coming from your country that are not up to standard, you can only import from their country, you cannot export, right? So Africa will export crude oil and will now import the refined crude oil back to our country. So in a way, we are still kind of dependent on some of these people who say, okay, you people, you already have your independence, but there are different ropes through which they can draw us from behind. And then another feature is core and periphery. So the global economy is divided into core, developed countries, and periphery, developing countries. And these core nations extract resources and labor from the periphery countries. And the periphery countries remain supplier of cheap raw materials and labor to these countries. Now, in Nigeria, we have Japa syndrome. Our people that are running out of Nigeria, what do you think most of them are doing in the developed world? They are doing jobs that their citizens cannot do, right? It is care job, all the menial jobs, just to put body and soul together. So this is what this theory is saying. And then it also looks at unequal exchange in terms of trade and investment flows benefits. They are saying that wealthy countries benefit more at the expense of poorer countries, right? So if you check how much they are buying your cocoa and how much you are buying chocolate from them, when you put it on the balance, like it's unfair, right? So they will come and take your things at a very, very cheap amount. And then when they are bringing it back, there are things that only the airlines can buy. So in terms of trade, there's this unequal exchange. They'll tell you that the yam from here is not up to standard, your beans is not up to this, your this is not up to that, your that is not up to that. And later they'll come to the back and they'll tell you they are giving you modernized seeds that you use to improve, and some of those seeds have been genetically modified. So in a way, you are still dependent on them. By the moment all of our traditional seeds are gone, and we can only plant using seeds that we have gotten from the West. They are the ones controlling agriculture. If tomorrow they wake up and say, we're not going to give you seeds, it means you're not going to have anything to plant. Is that not what it means? So you can still see that in a way, we are independent, but we are still dependent on them. That is why we are still developing. Is somebody saying something? Hello? Who is speaking?
No, he has just off his mic.
Okay, but are we following?
Yes, pa.
All right, the theory also looks at structural constraints, right? So developing nations are trapped in a circle of debt. When they tell you that they are going to give you $1 billion, the money you will pay to service that loan, at the end you will see that it's just a circle. As you are taking this one, as you are finishing, you cannot survive on your own until you take another one. So it's a circle. So there are these constraints that will not make you to be on your own without them. This is what this theory is saying. So if we look at all these things, you are saying people are not developed. It is because of the different constraints you have put. So they accuse global institutions like IMF, World Bank of the kind of things they do. So, for example, we say World Bank, they can influence policy in a country through the kind of loans they give to people and all of that. So they are accusing these institutions that they are reinforcing dependency. You're saying people are not developed with one hand, and the other hand, they are the one keeping them below, right? So the key proponents of this theory are Andrew Gunda Frank, Raul Prebisch, and Samir Ami. You can read more about this theory. Now, this theory is not without criticism, right? So the people who criticize this theory, they say that the theory overemphasizes external factors. They are saying it is Oyibo people, they are the ones who will not allow you. How about your internal governance failures, right? Is it not Nigerians that are cooperating with them for us, for our country to be like this? So you're just putting the whole blame on external factors. But the criticizers of this theory are saying that you people are underplaying your own internal weaknesses and just, shouting about external factors. Now, another criticism is that this theory idealizes state-led development without addressing inefficiencies. They are saying that if we remove external factors, the state will develop and all of that. Are you people actually efficient enough? Are you people actually capable to lead development on your own? So he's saying that they think it's development has to be state-led. But do you actually have the structures? And if come to look at it, even our roads. So, for example, Makodi to Abuja, who are the people who constructed that road? The Chinese, right? So, for I heard, is it 25 or how many years we are going to be paying taxes to the Chinese? This is road that has been a death trap for I don't know how long before they give birth to me and what have you, right? So, if we're saying, let us remove external influence, our governments were saying that road. They were saying that this road is a death trap, but they did not still do it until somebody still came from outside. So stop idealizing the fact that if there are no foreign influences, you are going to develop. When we leave you put to yourself, you might end up killing and eating yourselves. And then some people also argue that this theory is less applicable in a globalized world with emerging economies like China and India. So this theory can only apply to maybe some part of the world. It is not globalized. It doesn't apply to every country. So quickly, let's move on. Our time is fast spent. Well, moving on to world systems theory. This theory was developed by Emmanuel, and the world system theory expands on dependency theory by analyzing the world as a single capitalist system divided into regions with unequal roles in the global economy. So what does it look like? Look at. Now, it looks at the global system as a whole. This theory says that development and underdevelopment are two sides of the same global system. And just like I told you, Africa is remaining underdeveloped for the West to be developed. The moment Africa becomes developed, another place will become underdeveloped, right? So he also says there are three-tier structure: the core, the semi-ferry, and the peripheral. So remember, it says that it looks at the world as one system that is divided into three regions, which are unequal. So these three regions or different regions include the core. So these are the industrialized nations, the wealthy nations. They are the ones that control capital and technology. So yesterday we all woke up and heard of the B-2 bomber, stealth bomber, that there's no country that has it. So the powers that be. Then it looks at semi-periphery countries, so middle-income countries that exploit the periphery but are also exploited by the core. So, for example, if we look at Middle East, for example, some of the countries in Middle East can be classified as semi. In fact, for me, the core nations, the core or the industrialized nations are the global superpower. So these countries that have nuclear bomb, you can see that they are not fighting themselves. They only fight the ones that don't have nuclear power, right? And then the semi-periphery also exploits the poor. They are exploited by the core, but they also exploit what? The periphery, that's the poor. And of course, our own country, we cannot even. That is why you see people. It was so funny yesterday when I was going through Facebook. Some people were insulting Iran, and somebody was saying, "I beg Iran, please just take the GPS of the people insulting. It's not of us in Nigeria. Like we can't even stand up to Iran in anything in this country, right? Is it the economy? Is it their military might or what have you? So this theory says that the world is a global system that is divided into different regions: core, the semi-periphery, and the periphery. And every region is exploiting the one they have power more than. And then its historical focus. It emphasizes long-term historical changes in the global economy, including colonialism, trade, and capital flows. Like all of these countries, they have come from somewhere before they have gotten to where they are. And they have gotten to where they are through colonialism. So most of these strong countries is because they have colonized the weak countries, they have exploited their resources that they are where they are. Even in trade, in terms of trade, they have more power than us. So there's something they call trade war. Initially, when Donald Trump came, America was in a trade war with China. America will raise its tariff, China will counter it, they'll raise their own, and it was just going high, high, high. What does that tell you? If you are in America, you cannot import goods from China. So, for example, you might buy a flax for $1,000 and the tariff might be like 3,000. So what are you saying? We will not buy things from your country, which we will not buy from your country. And so this one will raise tariff, this one will counter it, and what have you. So these strong countries, they might not come to fight you physically, like how Israel and Iran are doing, that are bombarding themselves with ballistic missiles and what have you. They can just use trade to cripple you, and then you come down on your knees begging. And then they've also developed true capital flows. Another feature is capitalist world economy. So it is driven by profit and exploitation across borders, not isolated national development. So the capitalist just believes profit, profit, anybody that can, if you can, why not? Regardless of people that are being exploited. So these are the things that this theory looks at. And it's also not without criticism, right? So the criticizers of this theory have said that it is overly structural and too pessimistic. It's not optimistic, it's just looking at problems, 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 and then it neglects the role of agency and local dynamics. As you're saying, we have three core structures. Are you also looking into the local dynamics of such of the different regions that have been created according to this theory? And then some formerly peripheral countries have moved up economically. So what it is saying is that this theory is not without its own drawback. As it's saying, you can be categorizing somebody as periphery, meanwhile the person has moved up to semi-periphery using the model of this theory. Finally, we're going to look at the capabilities approach. This was developed by Amartya Sen and it was expanded by Matter. This views development as the expansion of people's freedom and opportunity to live lives the way they value. So for you to say that a country is developed, nobody is deciding what you want to do. Nobody is going to tell you that this is what you will wear or this is where you will go to. They look at freedom, right? So some of its features are human-centered. It focuses on what people are able to do and be. Allow people be. Allow them to be, to do, rather than just income and growth. So for them, they are not just looking at income or growth. They are looking at the other side, the social angle. And the core concept, it looks at functioning, actual achievements. So for this theory, it looks at, okay, how are people being educated? Are people being educated? What is their level of education? Are they healthy? Beyond, what is your GDP? What is your per capita income? What is this? It looks at. So yes, there are both sides. For those who are looking at economy, yes, it's development. It's just that this theory is looking at it from a different angle, right? From the people angle. It is human-centered, while the other theory, most of them are structurally centered, right? And then it looks at development as freedom. Poverty is seen as the deprivation of basic capabilities, not just low income. So, for example, if people are given the normal basics, right, then they are free people, they will not be poor. For example, most of the leaders we have in Nigeria today were educated freely, but now we are paying a lot to be educated. So that's a way of depriving people of their freedom, because if I'm educated, there are some things you cannot tell me because I know my rights, right? So it looks at poverty as deprivation of basic capabilities. And any government that wants to keep its people perpetually poor, what do? They don't need to carry cutlass or anything. You weaken education, you weaken social justice system, health system. You make sure that all of these things are poor. People do not have the freedom that they would want to have. And then the emphasis of this theory is on agency. Individuals should have the power to shape their own lives, right? Not governments emphasizing or making rules and regulations of what people should do and should not do. Now, the criticism of this theory says that, if we are looking at development from the human angle, please, how do you measure these capabilities precisely? Will you say somebody who has a PhD is more developed than somebody who has a master's? I might have my reason for doing a PhD. So, for example, I might be in the academia and I know that I will not go to the next level if I do not have a PhD. Somebody can have a master's or first degree and is doing quite well. So, for example, the Dangotes, the Otedolas, right? We do not hear them call them Dr. Dangote, Dr. Otedola, right? So, what is the yardstick you use to measure capacity precisely? Excuse me, please. Sorry.
Sorry, ma.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I'm choking a bit. And then also the criticizers of this theory says that the theory reflects liberal individualistic values that are not shared in all cultures, right? So if you say it is based on individual, so what is good for this person might not be acceptable in other cultures. So when you are saying you're looking at it from the human aspect, it means there's no yardstick to measure this development globally. When you say freedom, what is freedom to you might not even be freedom to me, right? So the theory is too individualistic and it's not something that is shared among everyone. Now let's move on to criticism of development studies. Now, so we have the Eurocentrism and the ethnocentrism critics. Excuse me. Eurocentrism. Please let somebody help me so I can take water. Can someone read Eurocentrism for us? Hello.
Hi, ma.
So somebody, I want to quickly take water. Can someone help us read what we have on the screen? Let me quickly take water. I'm choking.
Okay, ma. Eurocentrism assumes European norms, values, and historical experiences are universal or superior. Number 2, frames development as a linear process modeled after Western industrialization and capitalism. 3, ignores or marginalizes indigenous knowledge, African, Asian, and Latin American development pathways.
Do you understand what this criticism is saying? They are saying that, so if it is not the way they do things in Europe, it is not development in people's eyes. If our values are not people's values, we do not have the same historical experiences. So you are saying if everything does not move or progress the way you people have done it, it is not. So this is their own, this is the Eurocentrism criticism of development studies. And no, you cannot assume that it has to be the way you have gone, right, for it to be called development. And then we have the ethnocentrism criticism. Yes, can somebody help us with this?
Ethnocentrism, judging other cultures solely by the values and standard of one's own culture, leads to bias interpretations of development needs and outcomes. 3, promotes interventions that may be culturally inappropriate or unsustainable.
All right, so why the Eurocentrism looks at European norms, the ethnocentrism judges others. So, for example, I will be judging Idoma by tribe, right? So I will judge a chief person based on what is acceptable in my own culture. That is ethnocentrism, right? So I use my own ethnic or my own culture as the yardstick to do things. So these are some of the criticism of development. So whether you look at it from the European side or we look at it from our side, they are criticism, right? Nobody's side is the ideal. Yes, for the Eurocentrism, the West, they have developed more than us, but we mustn't follow their paths. And when we look at our own, we also become biased. So, for example, when you talk about equality, some people will say, you want to do what these Oyibo people are doing. If you talk about equality now, women will become stubborn in their houses. Women will become this. We start aligning our own biases because of our culture to affect us. So this is the Eurocentrism and the ethnocentrism criticism of development, right? So, the modernization theory, the dependency theory, and world system theory are classified as traditional approach. So, for example, if I say mention or explain one traditional approach of development, any of these will fall. Then we also have for the contemporary approach, we have the right-based, the sustainable development, participatory approach, human development approach, and capabilities approach. All of these are things you can read. So when we talk about right-based, for them, development is based on the rights people have. Sustainable development, most of us are aware of 17 sustainable development goals. So development is looked at in each of those goals, in the goals that have been broken into 17. If there's no poverty, if there's no food insecurity, if there's no this, we can say that you are developing. So that all of those falls under the contemporary approach. And then we talk about participatory approach. We're saying that development is not going to be led by one person. So when we say something is participatory, it means that you have different people coming on board, different people are agreeing, right? So everybody's view, different voices, there's inclusivity, there's diversity. Well, everybody's participating on the table to ensure that this is the way we want to go and we'll go that way. Then human development approach. So it looks at education, it looks at health. Those indices are the things it looks at to judge whether there's development or not. And then capabilities approach, the ability of a country to do things that makes it develop. So for example, if we come to Nigeria, what is our capability in ICT? Are we as capable compared to the Indians or the Americans? So when it comes to health, where are we, right? So it looks at those different things to judge development. All right. Do I still have my class with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
we'll be quickly moving on to gender concepts. Can anybody tell me what is the difference between gender and sex? So it's time to allocate marks again. The difference between gender and sex. Anybody?
Hi, ma.
So Bashir, let's hear from you.
Yes. Okay. What I can say about sex. Sex is the natural way whereby God made someone. That is either a male or a female. And gender is the process whereby someone will take a decision of whom he want to be. Either maybe a male can say that I want to be a female, or a female can say that I want to be a male. So that's what I have.
All right, nice try. We have not been clapping for people. We have not been clapping for people in this class, so we can clap for people virtually, right? We use all those our smileys to clap for them. Okay, maybe because I'm sharing my screen, I can't see mine. Yes, any other person? What do you think is the difference between sex and gender? Yes, Chidima, let's hear you.
Okay. Sex is biological, like our natural makeup as
Okay.
ladies that have, the breast and all of that. Why sorry, sex, then gender is just an ascribed role. For instance, you cook, you wash, and all of that. I think that's what I understand. Thank you.
Beautiful. So, sex is biological, while gender is a social construct. It means that gender changes from society to society, right? So, for example, in Nigeria, it is looked at that a man should be the provider of the house, right? Any man
Yes.
that cannot provide for his house will say, see this one, eh? Woman rapper. Any man that does not even provide, the wife will not even respect him in the first place because the wife will say, now me be man, now you be woman. It is man that is supposed to provide for woman, but when the woman is providing, the man's voice is gone, right? So a woman is looked at as a caregiver, while a man is looked at as a provider. Who has said this? The society we have found ourselves in. It's not like it is written or in white or black that woman, you should stay at home and take care of your children, and man, go to work. In fact, I remember when I was in secondary school, I wanted to be an engineer. My mother told me that engineer, so you want to wear trouser like me, jumping up and down from side to side, back. That is not a profession for a woman. Society. Right? So who knows? Maybe I would have been a very good civil engineer. But as they said, though, you cannot be jumping up and down for site. Imagine you're pregnant, you follow men and you say you're going to site, you're checking the mixture of concrete, you're doing this or doing that. Right? So sex is something that the society ascribes. It's a societal construct. It's a society that says, hey, this is how men do things, this is how women should do things. That's the difference between gender and sex. And we know that gender stereotypes and biases, they influence an individual. So, for example, if you stay with me for long as an Idoma person, you actually know I'm an Idoma person because you might see some of the stereotypes that we have, some of our biases, you might see them in me. And that has, helped to make the kind of person that I am. So, for example, from where I come from, right? Where I come from, they will tell you that if you, as a woman who is married, goes out, there's problem. It is either maybe your son will die. If you cook for your husband, you go out. When we say go out, that means you commit adultery, right? So as a woman, from where I come from, it's looked at as a taboo. It is something you should know. So when we hear people from other places, so for example, maybe other tribes where they don't have things like aleku, all those kind of spiritual things that they say is the police that will bring judgment on the woman or what have you. So when we look at people from other places where you see maybe, for example, a woman who is married goes out, the way we look at those people like they are aliens. So you can say that our own way of life, our own stereotypes, our own biases, they're influencing and making us the kind of people that we are today. Then we'll look at the difference between sex and gender. Just like we said, sex is social because it's a social construct. Why gender is social, it's a social construct. Why sex is psychological, it is biological, it is the way you were born, the way God created you, right? And complexities of gender identity. Gender, the way the society has said a woman should behave or a man should behave, have sometimes led to different complexities, right? And sometimes has led to different problems that we have. So that when a woman, for example, is the one providing, even your family member will tell you, don't take that nonsense from that man. After all, is it not you that is bringing the money in the house? Is it not you that is doing? So our gender identity and the way the society expects us to be sometimes creates complexities for us as individuals. Now, I want to ask, can two persons just give us examples of men's role in your society or community? The things that your community or your society has said, this is what a man should do, or this is how a man should behave, this is how a woman should do, or this is how a woman should behave. Quickly, can we just hear from two persons? Let's see the differences in gender in your society. So let's start from Bashir. So I believe Bashir is going to be giving us northern explanation of gender. All
Okay,
right, let's hear you.
like in our society, when it comes to taking decision in marriage, it's only the male gender that does that.
So give me an example. So are you saying that a woman is not allowed to say, I don't like this man, I cannot marry him, if your father decides that this is who you marry?
No, she have the right. She have the right, but is the male gender that take the 100% conclusion of what is going to be. For example, let's say maybe a lady brought someone that she want to marry, and unfortunately there are so many things that maybe he don't have any problem, but maybe in that situation there are so many things that someone don't like from him. So, and he is a male, he can say that I don't like this person, just obey me. You have no option than to obey. So it used to happen.
So we can see the power dynamics in the society where Bashir comes from. So these are part of the things we're going to be looking at in the course, but it is their society. This is how the society has ascribed power to that gender. Yeah, so let's hear from Chidima.
Okay, I'm going to still talk on the light of marriage. Here in the East, women don't take bride price, and we don't inherit land, though currently there are some policies within the local government areas that are now favoring women to, not really inherit lands, but receive land gifts from their fathers, like not like a family land, but a land that the father bought with his money and then he's giving it to the daughter. So I think from our end, I would say that women don't really inherit land according to culture, and women too don't receive the bride price of their children, even though they are the ones, or in a situation where it's a single mother thing and all of that. Thank you.
All right, so Chidima and Bashir have both earned 1 extra mark, so they are both leading in this class with 2 marks each. So now from their explanations and what they have said, are you seeing how gender is leading to complexities in such cultures, right? Because no matter what, when you critically examine their different cultures, you will see some drawbacks and some reasons why people in that place might not develop, and it might be tied to deeply rooted cultures or constructs that their society has. So, for example, if I'm in love with a man and my father says no, don't be surprised that I might never love any other man that I may marry later in the future, right? And imagine me living with somebody I do not love. The different problems that there's nothing you do that will be good in my eyes, because the bedrock, the foundation is not in place. Don't worry, Stella, there will be opportunities for you. Let's move on. Don't worry, I'm going to call you next. I've seen your hand. Now we're going to look at intersectionality. And when we talk about intersectionality, we say no one is a monolith. When we say no one is a monolith, nobody has just one identity, right? So let me give an example. I am a woman. I am a Christian. How many identities do I have?
2.
From what I've mentioned, right? 2. I can also say I have a PhD. That's my level of education. How many identities? So, for example, my title
3.
doctor gives me an identity in the society. True or false?
True.
So nobody is a monolith. We have different identities. We have multiple social categories and multiple influences. Now, intersectionality looks at the different identities you have that can lead to exclusion in a society or inclusion, as the case may be. But the goal for intersectionality should be inclusion and justice. So, for example, in our society that is male dominant, what does that mean? It means if you're a man, you are mostly going to be favored compared to a woman. True or false? True or false?
True.
Beautiful. So imagine that you are a woman, that makes you like less favored in an economy. And then you come from a tribe that is minority. Has it not made your situation worse?
It has.
And then your religion in your state is also minority. And then you are from a poor family. And then you have disability. My sister, Are you now seeing the different complexities in the life of this person?
Yes.
Right? If you say, okay, let me even help this person from this angle, she's poor. There's no way this person can eat on the same table with Dangote. If you say, okay, let me help you, she's disabled. There are some places that she will not be accepted, right? So intersectionality looks at the different identities a person. So you can be judging because it's not everything that might be on my slide, right? The different identities, multiple identities that somebody can have that can lead to exclusion or inclusion. And like I said, the goal of this course is inclusion, regardless of the different identities someone has. Please do not exclude them from spaces. Do not exclude them from services. Do not exclude them from opportunities. So, for example, in our society, in Nigeria, for example, we know that in our laws, we do not really encourage all these gay and lesbianism and what have you. If somebody comes out openly, so imagine that somebody is coming to run for presidency and says he's a gay. I beg, let me ask, will Christians vote him?
No.
What about Muslims?
No.
That's a serious
Even
question.
traditional worshippers, will they vote him?
No, not everyone votes.
Automatically, your sexual orientation has excluded you. True or false?
Yeah, true, ma. True. True, ma. True.
Intersectionality is saying that regardless of the different identities people have, let us not exclude people based on their identities, right? It should not be a reason why you're not allow this person to go to hospital. So because this person is gay and the person has accident, the person should die because he's gay, right? It should be humanity first. We shouldn't exclude people based on their identities, right? So we really do not have a lot of time now. If not, we would have shared experiences on how a clash of your own identities have affected you in your life. So, for example, maybe you're a woman, you're from a minority tribe, or your religion, you've been in a place where your religion is not the dominant religion there, or your culture is not the dominant culture there. How has it affected you? Has it excluded you from spaces, from opportunities, from services? So, quickly, is there anybody that's going to tell us about his or her own experience? Anybody? Is it because I wrote I'll go first?
I didn't get your question, please.
So who is going to tell us
I
how a
didn't
clash of
get
their
what you said.
identities? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
How your different identities has affected you in life. So for example, you have identities that are not what is favorable in your community or your culture. How has it affected you? So that is intersectionality we're looking at, because intersectionality looks at how people are being excluded or included on the basis of the different identities that they have.
Good morning, class, once again.
All right.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello?
Yes.
We can hear you.
I attend, I'm not using it as example so that people will talk about it anyway, but I fellowship with NKST.
All
I know
right.
our doctrine, they make women feel as if let me say inferior, because wherever they are gathered, one, you cannot preach. For example, I'm a good preacher, but I'm not allowed to preach in a congregation where they are gathered. So it makes me feel as a woman, it makes me feel somehow. I'm not
Okay,
able to
and that's
express
basically
myself.
because of your identity as a woman, right? If you were a
Yeah,
man, they would
yes,
have allowed
exactly.
you. Okay, beautiful.
They
So
would have
this is
allowed me because they
intersectionality.
know
Okay.
the potentials that I have.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Stella. So who else? Apart from Chidima, let me see. Is there any other voice? Is this still Stella's hand that is up?
No, Grace.
Okay, so let's hear from Grace.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity to share regards to this topic. Okay, some years back, I happened to travel to Kano. I went for a business trip. So on getting there, I had to stay in a particular place, and I went to the market. So I was wearing jean trouser, and a top.
So
Okay.
I came out of the market. I was able to get everything that I wanted to get. And then as I was walking through a path to get to where I stay, some like young boys and ladies within the age of I'll call them kids, they are children. They were below 12 years, and they were saying something in Hausa language, and which I understand. They were calling me prostitute, and they were just saying that, and they were laughing and all that. So because I understand what they were saying, and I understand the environment I was, so I couldn't react. But if it's from where I'm actually coming from, like my tribe, I'll be able to scold those kids and I'll discipline them. But because I know where I am and the way I'm dressed, if I'm trying to correct that, and I noticed some elders were there, they were also supporting what they were doing, because the elders were saying the same thing. And I know if I was going to maybe try to correct the child, is when I'll be tagged something, and then when the news goes out, nobody actually knows what actually happened. So this was an experience I had some years back, and it made me to understand some things that people go through, that maybe when it comes out in the media, you get to hear the real story or a particular thing that happened. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for sharing your story with us. All right. I empathize with you. So these are some of the things people go through because of their identities. Your identity might be your ethnicity, it might be your religion, it might be your sex, your identity might be your sexual orientation, it might be your socioeconomic class, even your health status. Whether you have disability or not. There are some people that they'll say, and this one has 4 o'clock eyes. They'll use it to insult them and make them, and so those are different identities that can lead to problems that can actually bring complexities into the life of someone. So thank you for sharing your story and your experience with us. Now, in development, we are saying development must be gendered. No one should be left behind, right? If it were to be in those days now, who knows, maybe I might have not gone to school, because they will say if you are training a woman, you are training her for her husband's what, kitchen. In fact, they say a woman belongs to the other room. Is it not?
It is.
Right?
Yes,
So we are
that's
saying
what.
that development must be gendered. No one must be left behind. Right? Because this gender we are talking about, because it's a societal construct. You see, in Nigeria, you say a man should be the provider. When you go to the West and you take somebody out, the woman will pay her bills. If it were to be in Nigeria, you say, as a woman, you will cross your leg and say, anyhow. Man will sort your bills, right? A man will foot your bills. But when you go outside now, you can see that in their own community, in their own culture, that is not their own gender, right? That is not their own construct. A man will foot his bill, a woman should foot his bill. After all, you don't use reproductive organs to pay for bills. You use money, right? And how do you get money? Exchange for value, exchange for services. So if a man does not use his reproductive organ to get money, a woman should also be able to get money, right? So we are saying that no one has to be left behind. Don't tell me this is what your society says. So please don't go to school. And when you don't go to school, there are some rooms you cannot get into. There are some opportunities you cannot get. No. For development to be rounded, it has to be gendered. No one will be left behind, regardless of what your culture says and whatever. And that is why, these days we're having the conversation to make sure that cultures that are not in tune with development, we begin to put away some of those cultures. And that's why you see that in some places, some of our traditional leaders, they are beginning to change things. Things that used to be in the past, they are gradually changing it so that it aligns and brings development into their society. Now, gender analysis in development, why, when, and how, right? So for development to go on, we must be able to analyze by male and female for us to see the gaps and then bring about improvements. So gender analysis helps us to understand power dynamics. So, for example, most of us, since we're doing PGD, most of us will have first degree or what have you. If during your project you went to the field, right, and you collected data using questionnaire, most of us collected information on, so some of us will write gender on our questionnaire, some of us will write sex. And what are we actually getting? We want to know whether you are a man or woman, three of us.
True.
Now, many people collect data on sex, but they actually do not use it. They collect data on gender, they actually do not use it. The reason why you collect gender and data on gender is so that you're able to disaggregate and you're able to check for the differences between one gender and the other. So, for example, if you pick income, you should be able to disaggregate your income by gender to see, is there a difference between what women earn or what women get and what men on average, either in a month or in a year. So that analysis helps us to see the gaps and then brings about. From analysis, we can see that yes, oh, there's power dynamics, right? So in all of the households I went to, women complained they could not make household decisions. We begin to check and see the gaps that we have. We see the inequalities and the disparities, and then we're able to proffer or suggest policies or make recommendations as to how we can close this gap while maintaining our identity and then leading to development. We must, gender analysis helps us to understand gender impact on individuals, household, and communities. Just when we say gender analysis, that means you're dividing any criteria you pick based on gender. If it's income, you check male and female. If it's anything you want to pick, health, you check male and female. Anything, that is what we refer to as gender analysis. And we're saying that gender analysis must be a constant consideration if we want to see gender development, because it helps us to identify issues. We'll collect disaggregated data that's based on, so what the moment you're able to collect data on gender, whether male or female, there's nothing you cannot disaggregate in what you're doing. It will help us to analyze gender roles and relations and then integrate gender into programming, design, and implementation, and also into monitoring and evaluation to ensure that we see the development we want and that it is sustainable. Because the moment there's inequality, any development you're bringing is not sustainable. Now people are seeing that, in fact, somebody said he would prefer to give birth to the president's wife than the president, because the president's wife is powerful, for crying out loud, right? There are some influences she has, that there are some things she will do that the president will not do. Now people are educating their female children. Why? Because they can see that, oh, when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. There's no woman who is educated who will not want her own children to be educated, right? Because she knows the importance of education. So all of this through gender analysis, it helps us to, check where there's problem, helps us to re-strategize, even in our program design, implementations of different programs, and even in monitoring and evaluation, to be sure that it is what we have set to achieve. We are on that path to achieving it. If not, we'll go back and change things on the table to ensure that our development is gendered. Subsequently, in our class tomorrow, we're going to look at different theories and framework in gender and development, including women in development, gender and development approach, the feminist political economy framework. And we'll also be looking at, if not tomorrow, with Dr. Deminongo, we'll be looking at gender mainstreaming. What are the strategies for promoting gender equality and integrating gender into perspectives into all policies, programs, and projects? We're going to look at that. If we say we want development to be gender, then we must find a way to see how we can integrate gender into different things we're doing. And I'm going to give an example of this project we're on. Then we look at men and women, importance, strategies, and challenges and limitations of gender mainstreaming. So when we talk about gender mainstreaming, it's not just only women. Why the emphasis is on women in this part of the world is because we live in a patriarchal society, so it's a male-dominated society. There are other societies. So, for example, there are places in the West where they are fighting for men, just like we were fighting for women. So, like I heard when I went to America, they said in America, a child is number one. According to the people I related with when I was there, a woman is number two, animal is number three, and then a man is number four. So when they are doing advocacy in such societies, who do you think they will be fighting for more? It will be men, right? Because in their society, their society is not male dominant. Rather, there are some things that men fight for because women have been very favored. So when we talk about gender mainstreaming, it's not only women, it also has to do with men. It's just that in our own society and in our own context, the emphasis is more on women because we live in a male dominated society. The power dynamics in our society is more favorable when it compares to men than women. So in summary, we have looked at the history of development studies. We've looked at key theories and approaches in development. We now know that gender is a social construct, and gender changes from society to society because the roles or expectations of a man in Nigeria might be different from the roles and expectations of a man in Europe or say maybe America. We have looked at, we have mentioned key theories and frameworks in gender development, which we'll expand on. And we have also talked about gender mainstreaming. How do we integrate gender to make sure that development is gendered? And we've also looked at intersectionality. These are the different identities that someone can have that can make them included or excluded in a society, space, opportunity, or resources, as the case may be. Now, to reflect on this class as we leave the class today, let us reflect on our gender influences, development processes, and outcomes in our own context, drawing on personal experiences and insights gained from this lecture to see how we can also further better our society, because change starts from you. So when you reflect on different imbalances, what are the things you can do? Can you help change some stereotypes in the place you have? What are the biases in your culture that you can educate people on to make sure that things get better? So any question? I've come to the end of my class. Do I still have my people?
End of the class for today.
Yes, we're here.
Okay,
All right.
I have a contribution, not question.
All right, so let's hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. I want to look at the concept of development and the underdevelopment. Development and developing countries. So there are some things that I want to speak about. I don't know if I'm being heard.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I think for us in some parts of the structure that the world has, I would say Nigeria is developed. In the aspect of, for instance, we have some culture that we put in place that has helped us to some extent to have a sane country. As it is now, we don't have kids that are struggling with their identity, maybe like from 4, 5 years and 8 years. Somehow we are in full control as a result of this culture that we have put in place. So I think in these aspects, we are developed. So the Western world should be able to borrow from the concept of the development, classifying a country as a developed country and developing country. I think they should look at it in a wider context. They shouldn't be too proud to like borrow some of these things from us instead of forcing us to accept, because we are a developing country, to accept their ways that we have seen in some areas that have caused crisis in terms of identity in the aspect of sex, and it has caused a lot of problems in the society. And again, for instance, guns are legalized in their country, and in our country is not really legalized. And so people cannot just own guns like that, except if such a person has the approval to own a gun. And because of this, we've been able to am I saying that?
Yes, the network is fluctuating, but I think we can hear you.
Okay, am I being heard now?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know of others, but I can hear you.
Okay. For instance,
Okay, so I was actually talking about the gun. For instance, we know the kind of society we are in, and that if such is allowed, like legalized for everyone to, please let me close the door. For everyone to own it, we'll have a lot of crisis in the society. For currently, we don't even, it's not legalized for people to carry weapons like guns. But we can see the case of Benue State, how certain I think bandit or terrorist group went to a particular community and caused a lot of havoc there because these people didn't have weapons. So a society or a country can look at the society and decide that, okay, this kind of thing, when it's been implemented, these are the things that it will lead to. So as a result, we're not meant to be classified as a developing country in all aspects. So because to me, even the advanced country are undergoing development because in some areas we are far better. Yes, in
All
some
right,
areas,
okay.
in some areas we are far better than them. So I think they shouldn't be proud. They should learn from us as we are learning from them. But they shouldn't push some things that, like for instance, now getting a loan and then fixing some areas in it that is not meant to be made known to the public. And then the loan is granted because our people, our leaders accepted it. They shouldn't fall for those kind of things that have caused a lot of issues that currently they are trying hard to solve in their countries. Because I know some people that became transgender because I used to follow on some things like that. They became transgender, but later on, they discovered that they were not really orientated very well. And then they reversed back to their former identity. And we have some groups that currently, young people that are protesting in this regard, that people should get to a particular age before they would decide their their gender, but not like at a teenage age, because in their society, teenagers can actually decide the sex. If they say, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, they can decide to do that. And the parents have little or they have little to say in that regard because it's allowed in that society. So there are a lot, but because of time, I want to actually stop here.
All
So
right,
thank you
so
so
thank
much.
you very much. So this is Grace also criticizing the different theories, just like you had people who criticize, like, okay, if people are saying this, well, we can also see flaws in some areas that has to do with your own country that you think is developed. But you know, there's a saying that says, he who pays the piper dictates what? The tune, right? So this is why they use their loans, their financial instruments as an opportunity to influence policy, right? So they want us to, so it's like how you train a child, this is how you want your child to go. So they feel like, oh, maybe these developing countries, this is not how we want them to be, and then they use those instruments as a measure. So thank you. We take that as your own criticism of their own. So this cuts across the different theories. It's not just one theory of, okay, you people say we have to change in our culture, attitude, but this is you people now. You people are even confused. Your children are confused, as small as they are. You are confusing them about their identities and what have you. So this will be Grace's criticism of development by the West, right? Okay, so we're going to call it a day. This is 12:11. We're not going to be having afternoon session. We'll meet tomorrow morning again by God's grace, 10 a.m. and then we'll continue with the class. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you
ma'am.
very much, ma.
All right, so I'll be sending
Thank you,
my
ma'am.
slides immediately to your WhatsApp so that you can go through it. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a
ma.
great
Thank you,
day.
ma.
All right.
You are so good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma.
All right.
You look
All right.
beautiful, ma.
Thank you so much for the compliments. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, now so can we leave the group now? Can we leave the meeting now? I want to do other things.